Despite signs of economic improvement, businesses are still trying to find ways to do more with less. That means there is much more emphasis on workforce productivity and efficiency. Arrowsight has developed a formula to improve production operations in Fortune 500 companies. CEO Adam Aronson joins me here in studio. Sir, welcome to Bottom Line. Thanks for coming on tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
The formula involves using third-party video surveillance. How does it help change the behavior of workers?
So Arrowsight's basic business premise is that workers will behave better if they're consistently monitored on a sample basis and given real-time feedback. And we developed a program called remote video auditing, which essentially is a lot like game film, really for commercial businesses. It's got a lot of the same concepts of coaching and video review. And the way it works is we install cameras with our clients positioned inside the facilities exactly where, the highest value areas for either worker productivity or some safety applications reside. We then have monitoring centers, which we have staffed with people that remotely audit worker performance and give real-time feedback right to the clients.
Sir, you're a former currency trader. How did you come up with the idea of using cameras to monitor worker performance?
Well, it really had to do with the game film concept. It always baffled me that businesses didn't follow what virtually every major sports team does. And so about 12, 13 years ago, I sat after trying to solve that problem.
Many top Fortune 500 companies and healthcare companies now use the remote video auditing to improve efficiency and safety in the workplace. How have you done this, and why do you think the organizations are missing out on productivity?
Well, I'll give you a great example. OSI Group, which is one of our clients in the meat industry, they've used our programs in their bacon and meatball plants to improve product throughput rates by about 10%. So that means in the same amount of time, with the same number of workers, they're able to actually produce 10% more product. And the reason that I think that these variants exist is that when you observe workers using conventional methods and give feedback, they know they're being watched. And so by doing it on a continuous basis, on a randomly sampled basis, you're basically able to smooth out and improve employee behavior, and drive significant improvements.
One area where video surveillance is making an impact is healthcare. Talk to us about how the surveillance is helping in terms of hygiene and in terms of surgery.
Sure. So we started off in 2008 using our services to improve hand hygiene rates. One of our clients is called North Shore LIJ Health System here in the New York area.
Yeah.
And they used our services to improve hand hygiene rates in one of their top, largest intensive care units. They thought their rates were at 60%. It turns out they were really at about 10%. And by providing real-time feedback right to digital scoreboards on the walls, they were able to, within 4 weeks, improve their rates to over 90% and sustain it. Those results were then published in late 2011 in a major medical journal called Clinical Infectious Diseases. That really offered us a springboard to get into the surgery side.
Mr. Aronson, I'm sure you have heard the complaints from some people about an invasion of privacy. How do you counter those complaints?
There's always some hesitancy right out of the gates for workers that aren't familiar with this program. We had to be very thoughtful on how we designed and implemented the system. So everything that we do is focused on providing aggregate feedback. We don't single out workers. Nobody gets, punitive, issues.
So there's not that big brother feel where every movement I make, somebody's watching and they're putting demerits down in some log.
Correct. And most of the feedback is actually used as positive reinforcement. So workers have actually embraced this versus, kind of run away from it, because finally they're able to be rewarded in a very kind of unbiased manner for their excellent performance.
I was doing a little research online today about video surveillance in the workplace, and in 2009 there was a California Supreme Court ruling. It was Hernandez versus Hillside. It said that employees did have an expectation of privacy in the workplace, but that courts could throw out lawsuits before trial if their surveillance was limited and legitimate. How do companies keep from crossing the line?
Again, I think sticking with aggregate feedback is really the key. Not using it as a sort of a punitive measure for individual workers has really been our way, into, over half of the beef industry, and now we're starting to make some significant headway in the healthcare.
Do some of the workers just actually forget that the cameras are there? Because it's not like somebody's standing in a corner going like this and just watching what they do, and they have a clipboard and they're writing everything down.
Yeah, for them it's all about data and feedback. So, You know, in the case of the operating rooms, which is, you know, kind of a new arena for us, we're really acting more as a control tower. We're helping these guys know exactly what's going on in every room at every minute. We're literally auditing every single operating room once a minute, and it's less about measuring efficiencies, you know, and much more about helping people know where to be and when. And by doing that, their efficiencies improve dramatically.
Might I ask you quickly, in the healthcare realm, in the operating room you just mentioned, is this more or less a teaching tool? You go back and look at game film of an operation?
It's both. It's you know, from the standpoint of safety, it is a teaching tool, and they've been able to, our clients, North Shore LIJ Health System, they've been able to use this to improve their safety protocols literally to 100%. This is to avoid wrong site surgeries and surgical site infections. On the throughput side, improving efficiencies, it's really about how much time does it take in between one case and the next case, and can you shrink that?
Adam Arison, he's the CEO of Arrowsight, joining us in studio. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
Thank you
Thanks
for having
so much
us.
for coming on. Up next, the